Offensive line was a major question for the Minnesota Fighting Vikings this offseason, especially the right guard spot. That's why they went out and signed free agents. Jesse Davis from Miami, Chris Reed from Indianapolis, Austin Schlottman coming in from the Broncos, as well as drafting in the second round LSU guard Ed Ingram. And with camp, it's always about, well, for Vikings camp, it's always about how's the offensive line look, how's the rookies look, and Ed Ingram hits the parlay on both of those. And offensive coordinator Wes Phillips had some very high praise for the pride of LSU. This is what he said about Ed Ingram. Thomas and go. Vikings OC Wes Phillips on Ed Ingram today during some reps during the walkthrough with the first team. Quote, he's very stout. He's got a great anchor. He's just getting better every day, end quote. And that's been an issue with the Vikings, where they just are toothless in terms of upfront stoutness, the anchor, pass protection in one-on-one spots, and that is Ed Ingram's forte. And so far in training camp, he's been exclusively right guard. He played both right and left at LSU, primarily with the second team. Now, the caveat is they've really been leaning in on Jesse Davis of veteran rest days. So Jesse Davis has been the first team right guard for the Vikings. I still think as of right now, barring Ed Ingram just blowing up preseason, I still think that Jesse Davis is probably the favorite, the betting favorite to be the Vikings Week 1 starting right guard. Now, does he remain there? I don't know. But when Ed Ingram does work when Jesse Davis has gotten veteran rest days. He's had 3 so far. And also Ed Ingram in one-on-one spots has looked really good, 1-versus-1. So, but like Philip said, he does have that anchor. He can get after it. And that's one of the reasons why the Vikings drafted him so high in the second round. Even though the scouting reports on Ingram, maybe third round, maybe fourth round, again, strictly on the field stuff. But the Vikings took a chance and took him ahead of some more notable NFL draft interior offensive linemen, mainly because Ed Ingram, his forte is pass protection and not being pushed around in one-on-one spots, and he's shown up and shown out in that regard so far. So I do think that Ed Ingram, it's not so much a question of if, it's a question of when he is going to start. But, like I said, if I had to wager, putting some jelly beans down on who's going to start at right guard week 1, I think I would bet on Jesse Davis as of right now. But if you told me week 8, who's it going to be? Flip a coin. It might be 50-50 with crystal ball, because the Vikings will be coming off the bye week 7. And then week 8, is it going to be Jesse Davis? Is it going to be Ed Ingram? And it may strictly just be due to performance. And it may have nothing to do with Jesse Davis. Maybe Ed Ingram just has such a phenomenal training camp. It looks really good in preseason. Yes, operating mainly against the twos. And then all of a sudden, he's that guy. Plus, I do think that you are going to see some first-team reps with Ed Ingram in the preseason, because they have load management with the veterans of Harrison, as well as Patrick Peterson, Jesse Davis. I'm sure that will carry over to preseason. Like, I would suspect that Harrison and Patrick Pete may not even play in the preseason at all. Allow the rookies Lewis Cine and Andrew Booth Jr. get as many snaps as possible. Same thing could be said about Jesse Davis. I mean, sure, Davis, new addition to the team, and maybe he'll work a couple of drives here and there in preseason, but I could easily see where Ed Ingram is started with the ones. He's just thrown out there just to see what happens, just to see his chemistry with Brian O'Neill on his right, Garrett Bradbury or Chris Reed on his left. Who really knows? But yeah, either way, I do think that the Vikings potentially have a very good offensive lineman in second-round pick Ed Ingram, and Wes Phillips believes so, and he specifically addresses what the Vikings were deficient at along the interior offensive line, so he could be a mainstay on that right side next to Brian O'Neill for a long time. Also, big props to Brian O'Neill, where so much of a right tackle's job is dependent on who your right guard is, just working on that chemistry, communicating, especially when defenses play games and stunts and twists up front, and Brian O'Neill has ascended to become one of the best right tackles in the game, and he's had just a gong show at right guard. Kind of amazing, man. But hopefully Ed Ingram and Brian O'Neill are going to be suturing up that right side for many years to come. Returns look pretty good so far. But your thoughts are thoughts. Vikings OC Wes Phillips hypes up rookie offensive lineman Ed Ingram. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skull Production Value.